Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Markus Breyer. Thank you for the introduction, Andrea. It's really my pleasure being here with you, and I heard you talked a little bit about Python Tech Days, and that these 3 days or 4 days even, this is really a deep dive on technology, and I want to thank you for being here with us and to talk about new products, new solutions, and to exchange with your colleagues about what seems possible today with technology. But sometimes it's even more important to think about what's impossible, what really seems impossible today, because this will be simply possible tomorrow in the very fast pace of technology. And for sure, you have seen the agenda. You hopefully made yourself available for the party tomorrow evening, because this event should not only be hard work, this event should also be some fun. And you have chosen your tracks on the comprehensive agenda. And, well, you're working in an IT environment, you're an IT professional or you're a business decision maker, and you're here. So it means you know that it's important to learn. And then it's again important to unlearn and to learn again, because things are changing that fast. Because we do live today really in a world which is moving at the speed of light. And some of the things are driven by technology, and this is why we're here, and this is what we want to learn about today or the next days. But some things influencing our daily life and how we live and how we do our work is not that obvious. So we don't see it on a daily basis. Because when we look from a worldwide perspective, there are some big trends which are just going on for a couple of years and will accompany us for the next 30 years. More and more people are moving into cities. By roughly 2050, we do expect that 70% of the world's population will live in cities. That's a tremendous challenge for all governments, because that means that you need to take care about infrastructure in a different way than you do today. And I'm not talking only about roads and trains. We need to think about healthcare. What does it mean if 70% of the world's population do live in cities? Power supply with fresh water, security. How do we manage security when that many people live in quite a small area? And then we have as well influences on our daily lives which are, well, not that long term, but are going on as well for a very long time. Because on this picture, the picture you see here, well, I think the prosperity of our countries are built on, well, of the work of these three guys here. But in reality, the so-called industry nation, this picture is disappearing more and more and more in our lives. In reality, the industry nations are no industry nations anymore, because the GDP these countries are generating with services in the services industry, the people employed in the services industry is already by far higher than people employed in really production of goods. And when we think about that, we as well need different skills. You need different skills if you work in a mining company or you provide a service for your customers, for your organization. That's definitely as well a challenge for education, and lifelong learning today for us already became reality. And then the way how we work, well, I know that our offices are not looking like this, but I like to use this picture, because this picture for me stands for a very structured world, and it's not that long time ago that we all were working in very structured environments. We were going to the office on Monday morning, maybe at 9 o'clock, and then we left the office maybe at 5 o'clock. And after 5 o'clock, we had time for our kids, for our families. I was grown up in an environment where I was told, well, you shouldn't do private calls during working hours. That's not allowed. And today, well, I think really this world is gone. We don't have paper files anymore. We have all our files with us on our laptops, tablets, smartphones. I'm quite sure everybody of you is using all these three devices. And we always have them with us. We're working in the evening. We're sometimes working even on the weekends. I'm not that much interested today anymore when my team is talking about working hours. I'm interested about do they get the work done. If you have a project and you have a go-live date on 1st of March, well, I'm quite sure that you will work in the evening and at least the weekend before to really make sure that the project goes live on 1st of March, because this is the expectation. So we're not counting working hours anymore. On one hand, the structured world here on the picture, well, that seems very attractive because everything was clear. On the other side as well, our private life has changed a lot. We have a lot of working moms and working dads today. You might leave the office at 4 o'clock, pick up your kids from kindergarten, then you play a couple of hours with them, then you have dinner, bring them to bed, and then you start again working. This is the way how we live our lives today, and I think we don't want to go back to this world anyhow. There is no chance anymore to go back, even if we would like to. So just be realistic on that as well, because we really do live in a world which is by far more flexible and mobile today, and we really do enjoy this as well. So when we see this picture, it's quite tough to say, is it work or home? Is it well, office or home, or is it work or private? When I sit in my favorite coffee shop just around the corner of the office, I do not know if people sitting there and working on their keywords. I do not know if people are chatting with their friends, or if they're really kind of preparing a presentation maybe for tomorrow. So we simply don't know anymore, and the personal life and the professional life is mixing more and more. And simply why this is possible, because technology matters. Technology today is quite cheap. I mean, everybody can really afford a tablet. We have 3G, 4G connection. Wireless is almost available everywhere. So technology really has a tremendous impact on how we do our work, but as well on how we live today. Because when I talk about laptops and tablets, well, let me be realistic. It's not only work documents we have stored on these devices. We as well have our music there. We have our pictures there. We communicate on social networks, on Facebook, on Yammer, whatever you're using. And when we think about the number of devices connected to the internet, well, that's tremendous development. Roughly 8 years ago, we passed the point where we had more devices connected to the internet than people on Earth. Just look what we do believe is in 2020, and it's not important as 2020 or 2 years earlier, 2 years later. We're talking about roughly 50 billion devices. And are we thinking today about connection to internet with the devices we use for doing our work and private stuff? Then with 50 billion devices, we're going far ahead of that. We think about connected cars. We think about connected refrigerators, heating systems, power supply. Whatever you can imagine will be connected to the internet. I mean, I have a navigation system for my bicycle, and this navigation system is communicating with the internet, and I have a service kind of getting me exactly details and business intelligence of where I have been and how active I was during my riding my bicycle. So a lot of new services can be created with the data all these devices are sending to the internet. And when we think about well, we talked about the mix of private life and professional life. We talked about using multiple devices, the digital generation, and when I look here in this audience, well, a lot of young people here, digital generation anyhow is using technology in a total natural way, maybe different than I'm using technology. So these people are moving into the companies now. They're joining the labor forces of the company, and it's a very, very fast world we live in. And again, we do believe we already have seen a lot. We're at the tipping point of a very big transformation. And those of you who are in IT for a longer time might remember very big transformations you have seen in your career, in your work history, in your work life. Well, maybe it was the move from the mainframe to client-server architecture. Maybe it was simply the internet. And today we have again 4 major drivers influencing the way how we think about computing, how we think about working, how we think about new services possible in the future. It's devices, applications, big data and cloud. And you know what? Because you're all IT professionals here, you're in the center of this transformation. And it will be very demanding for you, and it will be very fast change what's going on when we think about these 4 pillars. Because your business will ask you to kind of think about how you can make your workforce mobile. How can you make your technicians in the company mobile? How can they use tablets in really kind of finalizing a services order directly at the customer side when they have fixed something? How can you make your sales force mobile? How can you get the order directly at the customer sending to your system? How can your suppliers get connected directly to your systems, to your core systems in your company? The applications we're using today, we're using many applications already for a long time, but they are not ready for the new services possible with this new technology. So we need to adopt them. We need to make them available on all these mobile devices. Otherwise, they are not up to date anymore. Big data, I've shown you the 50 billion devices in only a couple of years connected to the internet. Do we really make good use today of all the data we have available? Just think about what is closer maybe. Open data from government. Incredible data available today, but we're not really making use for our businesses. We should really start thinking how we can use all this data for developing our organizations, because there's heavy competition outside. There are very smart people outside. They might think in that direction, and they might come up with a service which might be very disruptive for our own business model today. And then cloud, well, there's a lot of discussion going on cloud. There's a lot of discussions going on security. We need to be very careful. But in reality, what cloud means is infrastructure is not a limiting factor anymore. We have unlimited processing power available. Whatever we're dreaming, we could do with clouds. And I really do believe that these 4 days, sitting here learning about new technologies, should not only be a technical education, should as well be inspiring for you, thinking about what happens if we put all these pieces together. Where are maybe problems I'm working for a long time on and we haven't been able to solve in the current environment? Because maybe the new things can solve problems or kind of difficulties you already have faced for a long time in your organization. And a very smart person once said that problems anyhow cannot be solved in the same frame of thinking in which they have created. So maybe these new solutions might help you to solve as well issues you already have for quite some time in your organization, or the requests which have been put on you from your bosses, from the businesses, can be solved with these new technologies. And while you think about what is possible today, in the beginning I said, think as well about the impossible. Start dreaming again, because the technology moving forward will enable you to live these dreams. And just reminds all the people around you who do not believe in your dreams that they should not stand in your fast way you're going forward. Please remind them that you're already busy in accomplishing what they do believe is not possible. And with this, I want to say enjoy ShowIT. Please enjoy the news during the next 3 or 4 days. It's a bonus day, I heard. Next 3 or 4 days, and let's kick off the event. Thank you very much.